Only 1 year later, and most webcomics or graphic novel projects are gone, just like that. Abandoned and unfinished, forever waiting for an update that never comes. And yet, somehow, The Lost Land Sage, my online graphic novel, is nearly 1 year old. I did some digging on forums like Tapas and Reddit to try and understand why so many online serialized projects get buried within their first year. That research got me thinking about what it is I've been doing differently. What were all the habits that have helped me keep my project updating every other week, consistently, for almost a full year? So, in this video, I want to share what causes creative projects to stall and how you can be someone that keeps driving instead. And for those who are readers of The Lost Land Sage, this video will also serve as a little update. Things like when dub auditions will begin, when the home site will be published, and how you can read 2 new pages 2 weeks early as we move into Chapter 5 in the new year. BT Dubs. Hi, my name is Tiara and welcome back to my channel. Here I like to share world building, lore, behind the scenes, and updates all pertaining to my online graphic novel, The Lost Land Sage. I won't tell you how you can read the story, support me, or join our growing community until the end of this video, so if you could dine the wait, I'd really appreciate your time. Now, enough jibber jabber. Let's talk about what you're here for. Why do most creative projects die? After examining why most people ultimately stop their projects, I've boiled it down to 6 main reasons. 1. The time investment and the overbearing workload. Show of hands, how many of you watching this video have thought, I could do that, when watching a YouTuber explain their Etsy business, anime con hustle, or webcomic? And I do not mean in the demeaning way that someone who wants to commission you, but you charge too much, anyone could do that, says it. I mean in the way of someone who is creatively ambitious and maybe a tad bit manic. Let me know I'm not alone here in the comments, please. Anyway, when a creator gets in their head that, oh, yeah, I can totally turn my idea into a serialized online series, the amount of hours that would be needed to put into a project like that is either underestimated or overlooked. You not only have to write, draw, and edit constantly, but you also have to keep up with your regular life, your job or school or both, social life, romantic relationships, physical health, mental health, and a healthy dose of doing nothing with no one to recover from the exhaustion that is socialization. Let's be real, we're artists. Most of us are introverts. Maintaining a consistent schedule of, say, 2 pages or even 1 new page every single week can become extremely difficult when your sister is getting married or you had a hard week at work and are tired. Without a balance between your passions and your necessities, it feels like you would need a break. A short hiatus while you get your life together. However, next thing you know, it's been a month, or a quarter, or a year, and just like a gap year in university, the longer you spend away from the obligation, the easier it is to never return. I would know. You won't find a college degree in BFA on my wall, despite going to school for it. So, as someone who has clearly felt the reality of life and desires creating a conflict with my completion, or lack thereof, of a higher education, how did I not suffer the same fate with The Lost Land Sage? Well, I learned my lesson the first time it happened. First, I set a realistic cadence for my uploading schedule. I won't lie, when I first thought to start publishing, I thought that 2 pages every week would be as good a cadence as any. The proof is in my early videos from 1 year ago, which please do not watch them. They are so bad. Thankfully, I had a conversation with my boyfriend and a reality check with myself before I settled into that schedule. He suggested every other week, and although my mania at the time thought I could handle every week, my depression gave me the full truth. So every other week I publish 2 new pages. It's a lot easier to never miss a week when there is essentially a week break in between. And like I said, I get manic sometimes and finish an entire chapter's worth of pages in just 2 weeks. 2 out of 10 stars. I do not recommend bipolar schizoaffective disorder, but that's an aspect of my life that I can use to my advantage. When I'm not manic, or if you have a normal or different brain chemistry than mine, my second tip is to do small chunks of work daily. Take 15 minutes to an hour to work on something for your project. Revising a script, setting up panels, writing dialogue, whatever you feel up to. And if you don't feel up to anything, set a timer for 5 minutes. During the 5 minutes, do whatever you can. Everyone can manage 5 minutes out of their day. If, at the end of that time, you truly cannot continue, that's fine. I've had those days myself, but more often than not, after the timer ends, I turn it off and I keep going with what I'm doing. My third piece of advice is to plan ahead. Between classes or during moments of inspiration, always storyboard. Avoid a blank canvas or empty page ideas as much as humanly possible. It's easy to keep going when you already have 5 things ahead of you to do. Like I said in my mediocre artist video, an artist at rest stays at rest, but an artist in motion stays in motion at a constant speed unless acted on by an algorithmic force. So stay in motion. Tip number 4 is to create and or use aids for your process. So that means creating page templates, document templates, have a slew of settings and characters or even 3D references, make stamps and brush sets, do whatever you can to make the creation process seamless. This doesn't have to be something you start out with either. Over time, you will realize where you can save time and how you can optimize your workflow. My final tip, and the most important one in this section, is to prioritize rest. I recently pinched a nerve in my neck because I work full-time as a graphic designer and part-time on LLS. Basically, I used to have a gremlin posture 80% of my day, every day. I do my best to be better about posture now, but during that time, it would have been silly to continue working when I should have been recovering. Don't let a sense of duty keep you from caring for yourself. Having good time management and taking time to rest will do wonders to also prevent burnout. Speaking of burnout, that is the second reason a majority of creative projects online fail, and the second thing I want to talk about today. Overworked plus under pressure equals burnout. It's as easy as 1 + 1 = 2. You better not have said fish. It's 2. If you put down 1 stick and put down another stick, you have 2 sticks, not a fish. Anyway, I'm sorry for yelling at you. Burnout. Yes. If your work starts to gather an audience, there is a pressure to perform that comes with it. Combine that with the fickle YouTube or any other untrustworthy algorithm, and the pressure builds with the need to remain consistent. That means posting a short every other day, marketing out the wazoo, every post and story, being on every platform, and being there well. So yeah, overworking. And overworking can lead to risk and back and neck and other pain points that make continuing a suffering task. And we're back to the long hiatus that never ends that I brought up in my first point. I, myself, have suffered from burnout one time over this past year, causing the 1 out of my 2 missed video uploads to happen. Just that one single time though. So this is what I have to advise to help you when cooling off burnout. Rest. I already touched on rest in the first point, so I won't harp on it here. So next is to work in cycles. I'm blessed enough to be a woman, so my body naturally functions in a 31-day cycle. Most healthy women function between 28 and 35-day cycles. Just like some people cycle sync their life to do things that best fit their hormones during that time period, it is also possible to do with creative projects. Now, men have 24-hour cycles, and I am not a man, so I can't speak on that much, but I assume it may be the same concept as a woman, but with a shorter reset period. I don't know. If you're a man watching this, comment and let me know. The point, though, that I'm trying to make is to pay attention to health and energy and let those fluctuations set your work cycle. Then base your schedule around that. Solution number 3. Don't let your creative project be your only activity outside of your obligations. In plain words, maintain your hobbies. Like I said, I work on LLS basically part-time, if not more. But I still have other things I like to do. I like to read, play video games, play Scrabble and Sudoku, and watch Chinese dramas, and bake, and garden, and camp, and hike, and anything to do with a lake or water, and anything to do with animals, and anything to do with stories. When work is a lot, and I cannot work on LLS another second or my eyeballs will fall out of my head, then I turn to a hobby and let that outlet refresh me and ultimately my creativity as well. My 4th tip ties into setting realistic cadences and goals. If you don't hit one of those goals, remember that it's not over. That does not mean you've lost or failed. Just keep going. When I missed that 1 week's video due to burnout, I did not stop posting altogether because my streak was ruined. I continued on 2 weeks later with another video and just kept on trucking. Don't let failures be stopping points, and don't be afraid of them. Failures are lessons, and you only truly lose, not if you fail, but if you stop. All of this, I believe, reduces the chance of burnout. Doesn't make it impossible, but it sure makes it hard to happen. As a result, naturally, you end up slowing down to go faster. It leads to less likely chances of burnout and less chance of hidden expenses stopping your flow. Which brings us to topic number C, financial strain. The simple truth for most creative endeavors is that they don't pay for themselves, at least in the beginning. So don't go quitting your job to pursue your webcomic dreams. Not unless you have 9 to 12 months worth of savings to support you, and even then, that may not be enough. Most online serialized series earn little to nothing in the first year, especially if you aren't doing YouTube or some other form of online marketing to accompany your project. Take me, for example. I've been on YouTube for over a year, working on the graphic novel for 3 years, and officially publishing pages since last December. Do you want to know how much I've made on The Lost Land Sage? $1. Don't get me wrong, it's $1, and I'm grateful for it. I've actually earned money on my project, but I can't even buy a block of Swiss with that kind of cheddar. I highly encourage a smart pursuit of your creative goals. That means leaving your project as your low-cost hobby to start. Absolutely avoid taking on any minor or major debt or self-sacrificing life changes because some self-proclaimed expert on YouTube told you if you don't drop everything to pursue this, you aren't taking it seriously. Like I said, I work full-time, so I don't need to succeed in the Lost Land Sage. And in turn, that makes me want to succeed. I make videos for fun. Who is texting me? Who's calling my phone? I make videos for fun. I publish because I love it. Not because I have to or I'll be out on the street. The difference between having to succeed and wanting to not only vastly changes your quality of life, but also your quality of work. If you have the time to care, then you can put that care into your work. However, if you need to just make it work, there is no extra time allotted to caring. You get out what you put in, yes, and that goes for quality as well as time. If you depressure financial burdens by creating no-cost monetization efforts like Patreon or KoFi, use free tools, and focus on creation and growth, then you'll be able to better tolerate the slow growth that comes when you aren't an overnight viral sensation. As I get into point number D, I feel the need to share something with y'all. When I first started this channel and began to post about creating the Lost Land Sage, my goal was to create graphic novel content for YouTube. Because there really wasn't much out there, at least not about creating a graphic novel while doing it that lasted more than 1 to 4 videos. Otherwise, it's all about webcomics, or it's people after they've already made their graphic novel talking about what they did. In short, I really didn't expect many people to care because the only audience seemed to be me. And I definitely did not expect strangers who don't know me at all to subscribe. I just wanted to help out someone else out there who in the future may end up being like me. But here we are, over a year later on this channel, and I'm truly blown away by the support. Since the start of the Lost Land Sage, over 9.3 thousand pages have been read, and 16 people have subscribed across all publishing platforms. What? We have over 300 subscribers on this channel and over 100 Instagram followers, and a lot of fun, love, and good times within our building community. Yes, those numbers might look small compared to big creators, but to me, it's huge and a cause for celebration. Because even when there was just one other person here, it was one other person that cared. Someone other than me, outside the people who know and love me in real life, that cared. There's a beauty in slow growth, in finding the people who care at a steady pace. And honestly, I think that's part of why the Lost Land Sage survived when so many webcomics or creative projects in general don't make it past their first year. It's why we have a dub out, and auditions for the next dub are taking place right now. Quick tangent. Auditions for the dub of chapters 1 through 4 are underway. If you have read and are a fan of the Lost Land Sage, or are a voice actor interested in working with a passion-fueled project, send an email to projectsagenovel@gmail.com. I'll leave it down in the description. The current roles that voice actors are needed for are Rose, Head Dorren, and Autumn. Back on track, a lot of creators stop because the numbers aren't big right away. They're seeking a validation, questioning whether a project is even good enough, and if there isn't an audience, they're not getting the validation they're seeking, and so they're believing that the project isn't good enough, and so then the project quickly and silently dies. But I've learned to value the small, steady growth instead of chasing instant success, and I encourage you to pursue the same. Now, no one's ever going to turn a viral video away from their channel. If it happens to you or to me or to anyone, more power to you. But if it doesn't happen, don't cry until your cereal in the morning. Even when your views are 20, 15, 5, 2, and they are both you, I've been there. Keep shouting into the void. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around, it still makes a sound. And if you plant a tree, water it, nurture it, and let it get sunshine, it will flourish. Even if it takes a while for someone to notice your tree growing in the dense forest. Normalize not being a viral success. Normalize self-promotion, because if you don't advocate for your passions, no one else will. It's no one else's job to anyway. Find your center, and be sure to always recenter on whatever intrinsically motivates you. This is what will help you move past any dips in passion or fleeting motivation. Which brings me to my second to last murderer of creative endeavors. One a bit trickier to avoid, especially for ambitious creatives, and that's the inevitable loss of interest or shifting priorities when it comes to a project. It's real life. Passions, no matter how fierce, sometimes fade. Not because you don't care anymore, but maybe because something else got your interest. You want to try something new. You're bored. Animation looks fun. Concept art is pretty interesting. Maybe you could be a game designer, or maybe you even have a new graphic novel idea that you want to try out. I was hit by these urges too. The enthusiasm for something new and exciting becomes old and redundant. Then a new, shiny, pretty idea enters your brainscape, and the old one is looking at you, forlorn, in the rearview mirror as you think about running off into the sunset with your new bow. No.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm gonna be blunt. Unfinished projects suck. They downright suck. They suck time and energy and money. They're a waste. A person who can't finish what they start, an abandoner. is equivalent to a quitter. No. Is worse than a quitter. I understand certain medical, familial, and other things can happen, but this is not what I mean. I mean the people who abandon their baby on the doorstep because they just don't feel like it anymore. Don't be worse than a quitter. Create a roadmap or outline, and don't let motivation move you. Move from discipline. Revisit your why often, all of the core reasons that you started this project in the first place. The story you felt you needed to share with the world. And if your interests truly shift, then just wrap things up with a short and sweet ending. An unsatisfying end is better than no end at all. Trust me. Put the project in park and leave it in the garage. And then avoid the final pitfall on my list of creative killers. The final nail in the coffin being the scrap it and start the cycle again killer. The thing so many artists warn about and what I think is the worst killer. Endless redraws of chapter 1, deleting all your videos and starting again, renaming your project, redrawing your character. Every time you learn something new, you just have to start over again. No.
Stop it. Get some help.
I think this is the worst one because you'll feel like you really are doing something because you're creating constantly, so it feels like progress. But instead of climbing a mountain and seeing what's on the other side, you just keep running around in circles at the base, never even stepping foot into the unknown journey that lies ahead. In order to actually take that big ol' leap of faith, you're gonna have to do something difficult. I had to do it too. Stop being a perfectionist. I know, it hurts to say, I'm sure it hurts to hear. I had to though, so do you. We have to accept that you will never be good enough and you'll always be better than you were when you started. Art evolves as you do, and finishing is better than perfect every single time. If you want to save your best work for your best skill, then start small. Work a few small projects to completion to prove you can do it, and then take the first step onto something greater. In 5 years, I think you'll be thanking yourself. And before you say, "But Tiara, you're literally redrawing the first chapter and a half of your graphic novel," I have a valid reason, okay? I'm ahead on pages up until November, so I won't be falling behind as I redraw. And number 2, I kinda have to redraw for the upcoming dub. The way I created panels previously and text, it's just annoying to work with in video editing. It would take me way longer to try and make my old pages work within Premiere than it would for me to just redraw them. Plus, I'm only redrawing the pages that are not in the current novel style. The others from chapter 2 and onward are being left alone, even though I do still think I can do them better now. Maybe, if I ever get picked up for traditional publishing, I'll have the chance to polish the Lost Land Sage and make it all it could be. The future will tell, but for now, it's just fine. So, yeah, that is all of my 1-year advice for you. Manage your time and workload to prevent burnout, keep your finances low pressure, and ride out the low engagement period. Keep your true north and rely on discipline to avoid losing interest. Prioritize done over perfection, and you'll avoid the dreaded restart loops and every other cause of death lurking within the first year of a creative endeavor. Bonus, all of these tips are either free or low budget solutions. They just focus more on mindset and process. That means there is absolutely nothing standing in the way of you overcoming the first year hump except for yourself. You have a real shot of even surpassing me.
What, like it's hard?
If you enjoyed this video or got anything from it at all, I would really, really appreciate you taking the time to like, comment, and maybe even subscribe with notifications turned on. We're still on the road to 500 subscribers, and each of you that decides to stick around helps make that goal closer and closer. Also, be sure to support LLS on KoFi if you are able. I post free blogs and offer many different rewards to paid members. Linked in the description. Also, in the description, and I should have said this first, are links to the Lost Land Sage on Comic Fury and WEBTOON. I post 2 new pages every other week at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so next week there will be 2 new pages for you to read. Also, launching at the same time the dub does, which I'm shooting for December 1st, so it'll be the same day as the 1-year anniversary of the Lost Land Sage. I will finally be launching the home website where you'll be able to read the Lost Land Sage 2 weeks early. That's all I have to say for now. I have here in the script how I think my voice is going to be in pain by the time I get here, because I'm the type of woman who loses her voice after a 2-hour hangout session because I don't talk that much. And my voice does hurt. I predicted this correctly. But anyways, stay curious and suffer the consequences. I will see you next time. Bye.